Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we're diving into the world of AI, but hold on before you hit that skip button thinking you've heard it all.
Yeah, I get it.
Trust me, this one's different.
Definitely.
We are cracking open this book called AI for Everyone, Critical Perspectives.
Really interesting read.
And it's like the skeptical friend in a room full of cheerleaders for all things AI. You know,
Right. It's like offering a counterpoint to all the AI hype we see so much of these days.
totally. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not just talking about all the cool stuff AI can do, which, let's be real, there's a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But we're really going to dissect this whole idea of AI for everyone. What
Exactly.
are the potential downsides?
Yeah, who benefits? Who gets left behind?
Are we really thinking about the consequences? You know, all those questions that often get skipped over.
The questions that we need to be asking.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So think of this deep dive as your crash course in critical thinking about AI.
I like that.
We'll unpack some of the book's core arguments and hopefully help you navigate all the hype. And it starts with a question you might not expect.
Okay, sure.
What even is AI? Like, for real.
Right,
The book jumps right into this debate.
which is great.
And there's this chapter by Kaplan who basically says even the experts can't agree on a single definition.
Which, when you think about it,
It's wild.
that's kind of mind-blowing because we talk so much about it, but do we even know what it is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just some, abstract academic debate.
No.
You know how we define AI as huge consequences. I mean, it shapes how governments regulate it, how companies develop it, even how we think about its role in our daily lives.
It's all connected.
It totally is. And it reminds me of those headlines we've all seen plastered everywhere.
Oh, no, exactly what you're talking about.
Robots are coming for our jobs.
Yeah, the robot apocalypse?
And Kaplan throws some cold water on that, thankfully,
Okay, good.
because he argues that AI is more likely to change how we work,
Interesting.
not completely replace us,
Okay.
at least not yet.
Right.
But his example of the COVID-19 pandemic, I think, really brings this home.
Yeah, how so?
Well, AI was crucial for analyzing the virus, developing vaccines.
Right, right.
All those headlines we did see about AI being a pandemic hero. But it also showed how unprepared we are for AI's impact on things like healthcare and privacy.
Really important.
And suddenly we need rules like fast.
Yeah, we're playing catch-up.
Totally. And that takes us right to the core of what this book is grappling with,
Okay.
which is AI's impact on society as a whole.
The big picture.
Yes, because
Yeah.
it's easy to get caught up in the gee whiz factor of it all.
For sure.
But the real question is, who's calling the shots here?
Right.
Whose interests are being served?
Yeah, are we thinking about the ethical implications?
Exactly. And those are questions that we'll definitely unpack further in part 2 of this deep dive.
Can't wait.
So remember how we said this book doesn't shy away from the tough questions?
Oh, yeah.
Well, buckle up, because it dives headfirst into challenging this whole AI for everyone narrative.
Which is something we really need to be doing more of.
100%. It's like that saying,
Oh,
a rising tide lifts all boats.
oh yeah. Right?
Well, this book asks, what if some boats are underwater to begin with?
Oh, wow. I like that.
So it digs into how AI could actually worsen existing inequalities if we're not careful.
And I'm guessing they argue that we're not being careful.
Yeah, pretty much. And right from the intro, Vertigem throws down a warning.
Okay. I'm listening.
He says we can't let AI become just another tool for those already in power.
Right, because technology should be used to level the playing field.
Exactly. And he's saying it right now, that's not what's happening.
Not really.
And it's interesting because he paints this picture of AI not as some great equalizer,
Not like the utopian vision you sometimes hear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as something that could actually solidify the status quo
Oh, wow.
and make the gap between the haves and have-nots even wider.
Yeah, it's like amplifying existing power structures.
Totally. And there's even a whole chapter dedicated to AI ethics, which you might think would be all about feel-good principles, right?
Kind of like a checklist of things to do.
Yeah. But this book goes deeper, and it argues that guidelines are meaningless unless we back them up with real action.
Exactly. Like ethics need to be embedded in the design and implementation of these technologies.
100%. And to really drive home this point, the book pulls in this quote from Berman.
Okay.
And get this quote is from way back in 1992.
Oh.
But it's still so relevant. And he said that in a capitalist system,
Okay.
we tend to view technology as a way to optimize what we already have,
Yeah.
not necessarily to create a fairer system.
So it's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
It's the perfect analogy.
Like, sure, it might help a little, but it doesn't address the root problem.
Exactly. And what's so fascinating here is that this isn't just some like futuristic sci-fi scenario.
Yeah.
We're talking about right now.
Right.
Algorithms are already being used in hiring processes, loan approvals,
Oh, I know. It's everywhere.
even in the criminal justice system.
It's kind of scary when you think about it.
It is kind of scary. And that's what makes this deep dive so crucial.
Definitely.
Because if we don't understand how these systems work,
Yeah.
we're essentially flying blind.
We're letting technology make decisions for us without really understanding how.
Exactly. And we need to be asking those tough questions like, who's programming these algorithms?
Right. Like, who's writing the code?
What data are they using?
Is the data biased?
What biases might be baked in?
Yeah, because these are the things that can have real-world consequences.
They absolutely do. And, one of the most thought-provoking parts of this book,
Okay, tell me more.
it focuses on the language we use to describe AI.
Interesting.
And I think this is going to resonate with all of you deep divers out there.
The listeners, I love it.
Okay, so get ready to have your mind blown because this chapter completely changed how I think about AI.
Okay.
It argues that words like learning, understanding, even intelligence,
Right.
when we use them to describe machines, we're actually misleading ourselves.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like we're assigning human qualities to something that's fundamentally different.
Yeah, it's anthropomorphism.
Right, and it's like calling a car a horseless carriage.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure, it gets you from point A to point B,
Yeah.
but the underlying technology is completely different.
Totally different.
And those differences matter.
They do.
And Rihak, the author of this chapter,
Okay.
he gives some really compelling examples of how using the wrong language
Yeah.
can lead to serious misunderstanding,
Oh, I bet.
especially among policymakers
Oh, that's scary.
who are making decisions about how to regulate AI.
We need them to understand what they're regulating.
Right. And so he even proposes alternative terms
Interesting.
that are more accurate and less likely to be misinterpreted.
So, like what, instead of artificial intelligence?
Well, like, instead of saying a machine recognizes a face,
Yeah.
we should say it detects a face,
Subtle difference.
right? But hugely important.
Because it changes how we think about what the machine is actually doing.
Precisely. And this goes back to the heart of what we do here on the Deep Dive,
I was thinking that.
giving you the tools to think critically
Yes, love it.
and cut through the noise.
Because there's so much of it.
Because in a world that's just saturated with information about AI,
Oh, it's overwhelming.
and let's be real, a lot of is misinformation.
Right, it's all hype.
Being able to separate fact from fiction is more important than ever.
It really is.
And that's what brings us to, I think, the next really important section of this book,
Okay, hit me.
which is how AI algorithms and data are changing the very fabric of our economy.
Okay, this is getting real.
This isn't just about tech companies. This is about all of us. So we really went there, huh?
Yeah, we did a deep dive.
We did a deep dive. We went from questioning the very definition of AI
The fundamentals.
to like uncovering how it's enmeshed with power language and even our economy.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. It's crazy.
Truly a deep dive.
But here's the thing, right?
Okay.
This book isn't about making you scared of AI.
No, definitely not.
It's about giving you, the listener, the knowledge to approach it with open eyes.
To be informed.
Yeah, because let's face it, AI isn't going anywhere.
It's here to stay.
It's here to stay. It's already shaping our world.
Yeah, it's already part of our lives.
And it's only going to get more powerful.
more and more every day.
So this deep dive, I think, is about making sure that, like,
That we have a say.
that you have a say in how that happens.
Right, it's not just about passively accepting whatever happens with AI.
Exactly.
We need to be engaged and informed so that we can shape its development.
100%. It's not just about understanding the tech itself.
It's bigger than that.
It's about understanding its implications.
Yeah, the societal impact, the ethical considerations,
Exactly, like having that awareness to ask the right questions.
and to challenge assumptions.
Exactly. And speaking of questions, this book left me with a few big ones.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
For starters, if AI isn't neutral, like we've clearly seen,
Right. It's not a neutral tool.
whose values are being coded into these systems?
Oh, that's a good question. Who's deciding what's right and wrong?
And even more importantly, like, how can we push for AI development that's actually equitable,
Right. That's the key, right? Equitable and ethical.
that benefits everyone, not just a select few,
AI for good.
right? And this book also really made me question this whole AI for everyone narrative.
Interesting. You know, that utopian vision we talked about.
Yeah, like can we imagine different models?
What other possibilities are there?
What if instead of just making existing systems more efficient?
Which, let's be honest, often just means making them better at exploiting people.
Totally. What if we used AI to actually like build something entirely new?
Like reimagine how we do things.
Yeah, and more just...
Yeah, a system that actually works for everyone.
Now, those are some like big, hairy questions.
Yeah, our big question.
And this book doesn't pretend to have all the answers.
No, but it gets you thinking.
It gets you thinking. It gives you a framework.
Yeah, it's like a starting point for these important conversations.
It's like that quote, the best way to predict the future is to invent it.
I love that quote.
I feel like this book really equips you to do that.
I agree.
To like help shape the future of AI in a way that benefits all of us.
In a way that we can all feel good about.
Exactly. And if you want to like take that journey further,
As you should.
I definitely recommend checking out AI for Everyone, Critical Perspectives.
Such a good read.
I will say it's a challenging read.
It makes you think.
It does. It makes you think. It's not a passive read by any means.
Yeah.
But it's one that will leave you thinking differently about AI and its place in the world.
100%, I agree.
So on that note,
On that note,
thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.
it's been a pleasure.
It's a conversation that we all need to be having.
We do. We can't just ignore it.
And we hope you'll continue to like explore these ideas with us.
Yes. Join the conversation.
Until next time, keep those minds curious, and we'll see you back here soon for another deep dive.
Bye, everyone.